Hey, it's Tony Brueski, and this is our week in review over the weekend, taking a look back at some of the most compelling conversations and stories that we've covered for you of the last week. Brand new episodes back Monday morning, bright and early, 5 a.m. here on the podcast.
Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Now, every workplace is a little bit different. Sometimes you have some different, things that are put out at the coffee bar. Maybe it's cakes. Maybe it's granola bars. Maybe it's human heads,
It depends on where you work, I guess.
You just never really know what's going to be popping up there sometimes. In a shocking turn of events, a nonprofit organization based in Chicago, the Anatomical Gift Association of Illinois, otherwise known as the AGA, which is entrusted with the honorable task of handling human body donations for scientific and educational purposes, finds itself mired in a grave accusation of misconduct and negligence. These allegations, which border on the grotesque and unthinkable, have been brought to light by a man from within the organization itself, a whistleblower, if you will. I want to stop here for a second and just note the body part industry, extremely unregulated.
Oh, that's good to know.
If you think it's like this, like, oh my gosh, this is really, no, you really, there's places, I just saw something on this, I forgot where, it might have been Vice or something, where once it's donated, not a whole lot of laws, honestly, depending on your state, that restrict the movement of those parts to whoever really wants to buy those parts. Typically, it is, the medical community and things of that nature, but every once in a while, you get a collector, or so they want to call themselves. And you just, and if they want to make some money, Dale Wheatley, who serves as the transportation coordinator for the AGA, has raised allegations of horrific practices concerning the treatment of donated bodies within the organization. I know we've been doing a lot of stories on bodies and donation lately, and it's probably going to change a lot of people's opinions on if they want to donate them. I would say about this, be very careful where it goes because of things like this. Although, hell, Harvard just got busted for their body donation thing,
Yeah.
So I guess it's, I don't know. He alleges that these bodies donated by compassionate individuals for the advancement of scientific research and medical education are being grossly mishandled to the extent that they've been returned by medical institutions due to their abysmal condition. According to Wheatley, the state of these bodies is downright inhumane and unseemly. They're sending donors back because of mold and rot, bugs. It's deplorable, stated a visibly disturbed Wheatley, given a chilling account of the atrocities happening behind the closed doors at AGA. His allegations suggest that these bodies are not preserved in a respectful or dignified manner as expected and required by professional and ethical standards. The saga of accusations took an even deeper turn when Wheatley presented an unsettling visual. There's been instances where I've pulled donors from our storing room out of the racks and rats have chewed through the bottom of the bag. Through the feet, he claimed, recounting a gruesome experience. His revelations underline a scenario of shocking disregard for the deceased, prompting serious questions about the practices and standards maintained by the AGA over the years. David Fish, Wheatley's legal counsel for founding partner at Fish Potter Blanos PC, stood in full support of his client, emphasizing that donors should be assured of their bodies being treated with the utmost respect and dignity. Fish relayed that Wheatley has received complaints about the condition of cadavers from a local university's anatomy lab manager in Wheatley, and had admitted to her that bodies were not being correctively embalmed, prompting her to raise concerns with AGA Executive Vice President William O'Connor. Yes, William, you may want to pay attention to this. The subsequent email exchange involving O'Connor, Wheatley, and the lab manager was a stark indicator of an alarming situation where it was reported that flies were crawling on the bodies and the limbs contained mold and rot, and that students had become sick after being exposed to the bodies during their studies. Can you become sick for just breathing in the human remains?
Well, I imagine if there's mold, if there's, any toxic chemical coming off of the body, that can absolutely, especially if you've got sensitive lungs. that could set you off into an asthma attack, that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Oh, it's just gross to think. I mean, just the smell, number one. I've never smelled a human body decaying, but I've smelled a pig. And that
Very similar.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was horrific. That was utterly Have I told you the pig story?
I don't think so, and I'm afraid.
So
I'll go for it.
So we had 2 pigs. This is back when we were playing farmer on another my last house. And my ex had decided just to buy a cornucopia of animals with no clear idea on how to take care of any of them.
Excellent.
And then that all ended, and then I was left with a lot of animals. And I'm just trying to take care of them. I mean, I did my best. I mean, I fed them every day, went out there. It was exhausting, but I did it. And we had 2 pigs. And I didn't know much about, I was feeding them, and they got big and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day, one of them died. I didn't know what happened, just dead. And this is probably like a 400-pound pig at this time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do? Because I mean, I tried to like pull it and it was, it's dead weight. It also made me really realize, like, how the hell are these like serial killers and stuff moving bodies around like with such ease? Like this,
right?
Like this is,
I'm sure they've got a dolly or something they can use.
My goodness. I ended up I had a 4-wheeler at the time and some straps and such, and I wrapped them around the pig, and that's how I got it out of the pen because I could not lift it. And I didn't really have anything else to do it with, and I was all by myself with my, at the time, 8-year-old daughter. So I drug the pig out of there, and I drug it down to a little spot where I could bury it. But, oh, my God, that was the worst smell I think I've ever inhaled. And your insides almost feel gross because you're like, there's like, there's particles of that dead pig now in my lungs because I've smelled this. And
you've inhaled death. That's exactly what it feels icky. It smells icky. It's just something is decomposing. Something is not right.
Yeah, it's horrible. Anyway, Wheatley, distraught by the appalling state of affairs, escalated his concerns to his superiors within the AGA, only to discover the horrific sight of 3 dismembered heads left at his desk the following day.
So what have you ever done to a coworker who pissed you off?
What have I done to a I don't know.
That you can talk about.
I don't seek vengeance. I mean, I've gotten them fired when they sexually harass our whole staff.
Yes, you have.
But other than that, I don't do the vengeance thing. I just kind of move on. If I need to report something, I'll report something. I remember I was working at a place where the night guy was getting a little too friendly with like the 16-year-old callers. And he was married,
not a dating service,
and had a kid. And then all of a sudden he's seen at like an event with like this 16-year-old girl, and they're on top of a hill kissing. And it's like, you're like 30. And I think this is kind of illegal, although it's Kansas, so who really knows? And I reported that, and absolutely nothing happened.
Oh, God, you did the right thing.
We had like the phone line where you can call in and like anonymously or whatever. And I did. I'm like, this really should be looked into, like seriously, because this is a huge liability for the station. And I really don't want to work at a station where the night guy gets arrested for being a child predator.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like it at all. I even brought it up to my boss, and it's like, well, we'll talk to him, and and nothing ever fucking happened. Anyway, this gruesome discovery prompted Wheatley to file a police report, making a pivotal moment in his courageous decision to expose the alleged malpractices within the AGA. Should ask you the same question. What's the worst you ever done to a coworker that you had a vengeance against?
I put sardines in Danny's desk drawer on a Friday. I opened the can and left.
I never even heard about this.
He didn't talk about it, but when he came in on Monday, because I did it Friday afternoon, he left. He took his pontoon out because he'd always run around on his pontoon when he was supposed to be working.
Yeah.
And I had a can of sardines that, they're super oily.
Yeah.
and I dumped them out in his top drawer, and then I shut the drawer and left.
You
for the
literally
day.
dumped. You didn't just open the can. You dumped.
Oh, I didn't just open the can. I dumped it.
Did he ever say anything? Because I would have thought he would have brought this up or something like, who put sardines in my desk?
Here's what's bizarre is he never said a word to anybody.
That's just the first time I've ever heard of this. Wow.
Yeah.
It must have been. He probably didn't want to be looked at as like someone was that angry at him or something.
Exactly. I just needed to do something because he was such a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of my very first really shitty managers.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like he was up to something. He was always manipulating something. And I thought, what can I do to just piss him off, but not cause too much harm?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I didn't say anything. I played dumb. Nothing was ever brought up. That was that. It just came and went. And he never said anything. The whole place just stunk Monday.
Oh my
It was
God.
awful.
That's horrible. I did a smell thing at a workplace. This was in Wichita. This was not out of vengeance by any means. This was just my own stupidity. I was watching, this was like early 2000s, Food Network was really big, and there was a lot of like the Anthony Bourdain going to different countries, eating weird things. And durian was talked about a lot. Now, durian's a fruit that you get in like Thailand and some of those type of countries.
Okay.
And people swear it's the most delicious thing on the planet. But it smells like a dead body when you open it up. And I went to an Asian grocery store that was down the road, and they had durian. I'm like, oh my gosh, because apparently it's like a lot of planes don't even allow you to carry it. There's all sorts of rules with it. So I bought some durian because I wanted to try it. And I tried it. And, it tastes okay. Not worth the smell, though. And I stupidly put the rest of the container in the garbage can at the end of the hall where all the studios are. It was a covered can, like with a strong lid. It was like literally like a tin garbage can. And I thought, well, I'll shut the lid. That'll be good. And then I'm on the air on the other side of the building, and all of a sudden all these people are out in the hall, like looking around, like at the ceiling, like, what is that smell? And I walked out and I could smell it. I'm like, oh my God, it's the durian. And then I walked out, I'm like, and then everybody goes to the garbage can because they figure it out. They're like, what is this? Is there a dead animal in here? I'm like, oh, I had some durian at lunch. They're all like, what's durian?
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
I just looked it up. It says it can be compared to raw sewage, rotting flesh, or smelly gym socks.
I'd go with rotting flesh and smelly gym socks. Like, sewage would be an upgrade in the smell, quite honestly. That's...
Anthony Bourdain once said that eating it, your breath will smell as if you'd been French kissing your dead grandmother.
Yes, I would say that's probably accurate. That's probably very, very accurate. So if you ever want to get back at somebody, go get some durian at the Asian market and just, put it in somebody's desk and see what happens. Anyway, continuing with this, the allegations brought forth by Wheatley present a stark contrast to the AGA's public image. The association collaborates with at least 8 medical schools in the state, including, okay, this is creepy because this is kind of what we ran into just the other day when we're talking about Harvard. So these businesses supply this stuff. It's like their Cisco of body parts. It really is. Like, hey, look, we got some great scrotums this week. The association collaborates.
Well,
it's like, hey, come on down. We got something really great.
Proctologists need to look at this stuff. So,
You've been looking for some scrotums, and I got some here in the back of the van.
So, yeah, anyway, the allegations brought forth by Wheatley present that stark contrast. The association collaborates with at least 8 medical schools in the state, including Northwest University's Feinberg School of Medicine, and boasts of upholding the highest standards of responsiveness, respect, privacy, and security on its website. Yet, Wheatley insists that the reality is far from those lofty claims. He alleges that bodies are improperly embalmed and even brain removal procedures are not performed adequately, leaving bodies in deplorable conditions. Wheatley has come forward with these allegations not to cause sensationalism, but out of concern for the families who have chosen to donate their loved ones' bodies for scientific advancements. He expresses his heartfelt respect for these donors and emphasizes the need for their bodies to be treated with dignity. Fish, standing by Wheatley, confirms that they have requested an investigation by the AGA, into the AGA, whether by the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, the Illinois Department of Public Health, and the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. As of now, they have not initiated any legal action against the AGA, hoping the organization might clean up its act first. Because, yes, usually organizations that are in gross misconduct of how to handle something, they do a great job of self-policing because they did so good thus far. Why not expect them to start doing it now?
Right.
Multiple attempts were made to contact the AGA and its executive VP, William O'Connor, for a comment on these shocking allegations. However, after this report, no response has been received, deepening the shadows of suspicion around the alleged misdeeds of the AGA.
That's terrible.
So,
just terrible.
3 heads on a desk is a pretty good get back at you thing in a workplace, though. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. That's first of all, it is disparaging these donors. That's not a good use of their head.
No.
And second of all, that's a pretty aggressive thing to do to a coworker. Even though here I am talking about what I did with the sardines, I think it was just annoying and gross what I did. It wasn't threatening.
Mm-hmm.
But putting heads on somebody's desk, that feels threatening to me.
It seems threatening, and I'm wondering if it's, a illegal in some way, shape, or form. I would imagine it probably is, but
Might be.
I don't know. Their website isn't. It's not running as. Maybe somebody hacked their website. I don't know. They don't have a lot of great reviews, so to speak. Although it seems like a lot of people started leaving reviews after they heard the story of what's going on. But it's kind of in a seedy part of town. And it's just kind of in an old warehouse building. So I guess kind of what I'd expect for where bodies go. I don't know. It just seems kind of creepy. This is in Chicago. So.
Yeah, not good.
Anatomical Gift Association of Illinois. I guess right now, from what we know, think twice before you decide to die and donate your body.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.